Thank you for joining Cancer Support Community Atlanta for this program. Please visit our website, cscatlanta.org, for a complete list of live and recorded events. We invite you to sign up for our newsletter to stay connected to all future programs.
Hi, this is Chef Kip. We're doing a series on 15-minute meals, and today we're going to make red fruit salad with fresh seasonal fruit and herbs. Okay, so I was asked to make a fruit salad, and oh my gosh, this one was the one that I sat with and thought about for a long time because there's so many different ways to do this. And I thought, what could I do that sort of has an interesting angle or perspective? And I thought back to the white winter salad that I made a few months ago that was all sort of like fennel and endive and white, a salad that was mostly white ingredients. And I guess I'm sort of in my monochromatic era. And then I came across a recipe that was 5 ingredients for a red fruit salad. And I'm gonna tell you folks, my heart was set on cherries for you today. I really, really wanted this salad to have strawberries and cherries in it. But we are not quite in cherry season yet. I looked at multiple stores. I thought about doing frozen. You could do frozen with cherries in particular because they still hold up their structure after they've frozen and thawed. And then I saw these red plums, and I knew that it wasn't going to strictly be quite as monochromatic. But the original salad I was inspired by had just cherries and strawberries, coriander, and lemon juice. And then, so what I looked at, then I started looking at all of these different red fruit salads and sort of borrowed from several of them. So today, when it comes to a fruit salad, a couple things you want to think about. Seasonal fruit, of course, is what you want to go for because that's where your fruit is really going to shine. It's where you're going to get great flavor. However, you want to be careful that your fruit is not on the other side of ripe, right? If anything, we want to err on the little bit on the underside if it's not just perfect. Because once you add acidic ingredients or any sugar or anything, it's just going to succumb, and then you're mostly going to have a fruit soup instead of fruit salad. So these pears, when I felt them yesterday at the store, I was like, yeah, this is going to be good. These are not pears. These plums. These plums are just on the underside of ripe, but we're going to loosen them up a little bit. So fruit salads often have a vinaigrette in them. I'm not going to do a vinaigrette with oil today. We're going to keep it super simple. And instead of citrus juice, which is common, we're going to use red wine vinegar, which I think is a little bit of a different twist. It stays on theme with the red, but red wine vinegar also has some really fruity notes to it. Another option in here would be, red grapes would be fun as well. You could go watermelon once you get into watermelon season, although watermelon tends to be a little weepier and juicier, and you're going to have a pool in the bottom. I knew it had to have strawberries because we are right smack in the middle of strawberry season, right, so we're right there on strawberries. And then I thought about herbs. I thought about mint. I thought about ginger. I decided to go with basil today. I love the flavor combination of basil and strawberry. And then coriander is probably my favorite dried spice. I love how coriander is so floral. And I think it's usually sort of a background thing, but we're going to let it be a little bit more of the star of the show today. So I've pre-diced up. The other thing you want to think about with fruit salads is trying to get your fruit pieces roughly the same size, right? You don't want a big piece here and a little piece there. It's just easier to eat with a spoon if you want, or a fork or whatever, if things are all the same size. And then I like to take my basil leaves. I'm going to get my big ones, and I'm just going to stack them into a pile here. And when I was in college, I worked at a restaurant in Atlanta that is now long, long defunct. And I won't name names because the executive chef there was like the stereotype of an egotistical, blustery, kind of mean chef. He was, very, very, very proud of his BMW and his degree from the Culinary Institute of America. And he changed the menu and gave us a menu test. And the day before the menu test, he was firing off questions at me in culinary terms. And I was like, listen, man, you have a degree from the Culinary Institute of America, and I'm still in college. So I hope that you know more about food than I do. Like, what are you proving to yourself? Anyway, he asked me that day if I knew what chiffonade meant, and I did not. But I went home that night and I looked it up and I learned, and then I went and got 100% on his menu test the next day. I'll show you. You know what's funny? I don't even remember his name. I don't. But I do remember what chiffonade means. Right. So it's what I'm doing right now. It is when you take leaves. It's often done with basil and mint. We're going to stack them up, and then we're going to roll them like a little cigar. And then we're going to give it a real thin slice until you end up with these little ribbony shapes. Basil likes this in particular because if you just go chopping at your basil, it's going to get really bruised, right? It ends up getting oxidized really easily and starts to darken. And so this is just a nice way to sort of get it chopped into a nice piece without oxidizing it as much. All right, so again, these salads are so simple. It's just about thinking of creative ways to put them together, but we're gonna get a bigger bowl. I gotta get my hands in there and work with it. That's a little bit bigger. Do you guys ever do the thing where you're trying to estimate what size container your leftovers need to go in? Right, but somehow if it's too big, that feels awkward to me as well, and it's very unsatisfying in almost the same way. So I've got a couple of tablespoons of, again, I've multiplied this recipe here, of dark brown sugar. I think dark brown sugar just has a little extra, brown sugar is brown from molasses, and molasses has a lot of tasty, yum flavor, so just adding a little extra of that there. We're gonna dump this in and give it a toss. So it would have been more red if cherries had decided to be in season yet. But I implore you, when cherry season comes around, if you can hold yourself back from just eating them all out of the bag, which I'm not going to fault you if that's the direction you go. All right, we're going to wing it on the coriander and then give it a taste. Yeah, it's all really nice and in season. This is probably enough vinegar. We don't want it overly tangy because with fruit salad, you don't have to do much, right? You really want to let the fruit be the star. And then just give it a toss. Oh yeah, so I really like the vinegar smell that's popping. I can already tell I want a little bit more coriander. And then we're going to taste and adjust.
What's the difference between coriander and cumin?
They are from completely different plants, but and so cumin has definitely is a longer, thinner seed, and the coriander seed is a little round ball. Fun fact: coriander seed is the seed of cilantro. So if you plant cilantro, and then it bolts, like mine always does, before you get very much cilantro, and it goes to seed, just let it hang out and flower, and then when it just goes to seed and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna rip this out, you have a bunch of coriander right there. So use it. I mean, it doesn't yield a ton of coriander from one plant, and then maybe you will appreciate what goes into picking apart little seeds. So Chef Mike and I, one time, years ago, split a bag of saffron crocuses to try to grow saffron in our yards. I got about 12 strands of saffron, because there's like 3 or 4 little, I'm now gonna butcher up my flower parts. I don't remember if it's the stamen or the pistil or the little inside reproductive flower part is what saffron is from a saffron crocus. Yeah, and then I think some landscapers like mowed over my crocuses. But yeah, we had a modicum of success. All right, so we're gonna taste, see where we landed. All right, want a little bit of everything in there. I like you. I'm excited. Yes. So what you're striving for is, in my opinion, what I'm striving for, I want to be able to taste the individual fruits, all right? I want to taste the plum and the strawberry. I want to taste, what I like about not so many ingredients is that you can really taste them all individually and let them shine. And so, yeah, you get the basil, you get the tang from the vinegar, but it's still nice and sweet. It's not overly sweet or cloying. And that little floral coriander note is just hanging around in the back. Success. All right. Yeah. I'm running out of bowl. Oh, here we go. It's a cute little dish. I think it just had, I don't know what it had in it, but pecans or something probably. How many bowls and utensils can I have to wash today? I'm really getting my work cut out for me. So there we go. A nice, mostly red fruit salad.
Thank you for joining Cancer Support Community Atlanta for this program. If you're interested in other live or recorded programs, please visit the online program tab of our website, cscatlanta.org, or follow us on Facebook. We'll be sharing additional information on upcoming programs.